Sports Network.
Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
It's time for Tip-Off Tuesday.
I love the vibe. I really like this group.
Richardson to the basket. Tough lay-in and one.
How wide open. Three is good.
Part of being a good leader is having guys who are willing to follow.
They compete. That's the one thing I've noticed. They get after each other.
Dante flush.
Indy top left. Three is good. Indy Rogers.
What I really appreciate about them is they do want to just play.
And that's what happens when you bring it every day in practice. You become a disciplined, reliable player.
This is Tip-Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Today's broadcast is also brought to you by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks! Drink Pepsi. Let's talk Oregon Ducks basketball. From the Country Financial Studio, alongside Terry Jonz, here's Joey Mack.
You know, I wish that in hindsight we had done that the opposite direction. You could have just taken it from the start. So, because I mean, the guy who's sick and has the raspy voice.
They sound great over there.
Yeah. How many? You know, in the old days, how many cigarettes or cigars would have made me sound like this, Terry? I don't know.
Well, don't ask me. I didn't.
Yeah. I was gonna say your voice still sounds like velvet.
Well, no, I didn't do any of that, so I don't know.
That's why I mean your voice still sounds like velvet.
Not always. I've been in your position. I feel for you, buddy, and. I got to tell you, folks, that whatever you do at a game and you have this, it is not fun.
It's not.
It is not fun.
Not fun in general. But anyway, thanks for being with us, everybody. It is
hello.
Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Toyota. We've got Kelly Graves and Mike Mennenga on our first Tip-Off Tuesday of the year. And you're actually going to get a chance. One of, I guess, the I don't want to say benefits, but I suppose it is, that comes with a smaller roster. You get to talk with every student athlete on the show this year.
Yeah, coming up, we got 9 more shows after this one. We have 9 players.
That's right.
So we'll try and get to know every one of them.
Well, that works out well, doesn't it?
That will be good.
Yeah, we planned for that. Now, for men's basketball, there's only about 9 healthy players. But we'll see how that goes.
We're going to have some more, we hope.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes over the course of the next few weeks. And I know everybody's been asking. So on the men's basketball side, winter guys like Jermaine Couisnard, Keyshawn Bartholomew, Nate Biddle, Ethan Butler working their way back. Well, I asked Coach Altman, as part of our Toyota Coaches Corner, I asked him, and he said, well, we're hopeful. But he said probably about 10 days because they haven't been practicing a ton in the early going of this calendar year. So you've been through that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's tough. You know, they're injured, and you don't want to bring them back too soon. There's still a lot of season left. If you bring them back too soon, then they're out for a longer time. You know, and then you want them in March, right? In late February and March. And so you got to make sure you get them ready for that. And, you know, Coach has been through that a few times.
Unfortunately.
Both of our coaches have been through that a few times, and they know how to manage it. And it's frustrating to them, too.
It is.
You know it is, and certainly to the players as they try and get back. They're doing everything, and, you know, rehab is no fun either for the players. I mean, we see the finished product after they have an injury, and they come back and go, oh, well, geez, okay, good. And you don't think of all the hours that they have spent in with Clay Jamison and Erica Bellamy,
right,
for the women. I mean, it's a lot. Although out of that, I remember Ennis and Megan. I can't. Well, now they're
Trinder.
Mr. and Mrs. Yeah, Trinder.
Yep.
Dylan, right?
Yep, Dylan Ennis.
Dylan, and married and have a couple kids playing professionally over in Europe. I think are they in Israel now? I'm not sure.
You'll know better than me.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I follow them on Twitter, and it's kind of fun, but. That's how they met, because they were both rehabbing at the same time.
That's
so
true.
They got to know each other, and there you go.
The rest is history.
That's right.
All right, so Oregon men's basketball sitting at 8-6 overall, 2-1 in conference. Coming off a win over your rival always feels good. But this is no secret. There's been one road trip that's been really tough for men's basketball in the Dana Altman era, and it's been whenever they go to Colorado. They've been pretty successful at Utah, but Colorado actually, Terry, is the one team in the conference, the one team that Dana Altman does not have a winning record against.
Wow.
Which says a lot, right? Like in 12 years, That's a lot of wins over the rest of the Pac-12. But that's what's in front of them, and so still a little shorthanded. But coming off a nice win for Oregon men's basketball, they rebounded well. They defended better. I think a good start to conference season for the men. Meanwhile, for the women, dropped one, then bounced back in a big way.
Yeah, 11-3 overall, and I think if you fans, if we all said, hey, how's 11-3 sound second weekend in January, we'll take it. Especially the 3 losses were all to top 10 teams, trying to get over that hump. And I'll tell you what, the response, though, after losing to UCLA, where they didn't play their best, they did fight at the end, but you want to start the game. And the interesting part is you hear Coach Graves say this. They came in Saturday. I thought, well, I'm not going to go to Saturday's practice because I heard him say, it's just going to be a light workout, just doing some drills. And well, they got there. The team, they watched the film of the UCLA game, and the team was ticked off. And they said, no, we need to go out and fix some things. They did a hard practice on Saturday, and then you saw what happened to USC on Sunday.
How about that?
Yeah, when you got a team that's doing that, coach, he kind of had a smile, when he was saying that.
Right.
So that makes them feel pretty well. But 2-1 in the conference, heading down to the state of Arizona. Arizona State first on Friday at 5, and then 4 o'clock on Sunday at ESPN2 game, by the way. And Tucson against Arizona. Still a pretty good Arizona team. New coach at Arizona State as Charlie Turner Thorne is gone now, but a new coach and a lot of new players. So a little bit of the struggle, but you still got to go play them, and you still got to do what you got to do to get the win. It's never that. Speaking of a place that's not easy, Arizona State has been a tough place for Oregon women over the years for a long time.
Yeah. So it's a pretty good start.
Yeah.
Could it have gone better for both teams in non-conference play, start of Pac-12 play? Sure. Will it go better moving forward? Yeah. Right?
Right.
That's right.
He's
right.
Terry Jonz. Hey, I get to go to Arizona.
That's right.
We're getting out of the rain. You're going to snow.
Colorado.
I'm going to sunshine and 68 degrees.
Yeah. Come back tan.
Yeah. Sure. If they play outside,
I have to. Well, all right. I got to break the fourth wall here. I already heard Terry's conversation with Coach Graves, and I know that Coach Graves pointed out that it's always warm in Arizona.
Not always.
Well, that's what he said, and I'm going with the coach.
Well, it's coming, though. If it rains one day there,
it always gets there.
Wait a few hours and there'll be some sunshine probably.
That's right.
It gets cold in the desert at night during this time of year.
It does.
I used to go golfing with my dad, and I said, Dad, I can't feel – he liked to go first tee time. I said, Dad, I can't feel my hands till the 4th hole. That's fun.
Not good. No.
He's like, we can get it done, and then we can go. We got the rest of the day.
That's not good.
No,
I don't
sorry.
like that. In any case,
off on a tangent.
If you're unfamiliar with Tip-Off Tuesday, we'll always have the coaches on and then also student-athletes depending on their schedules and availabilities. Yeah. That's the plan for every basketball coaches show. Kelly Graves, because the women are coming off a nice win, we figured, well, we're gonna start with him. So that's next. It's Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Toyota. Kelly Graves talking with Terry Jonz when we return on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has been the credit union serving the University of Oregon community. With remarkable checking, My OCCU mobile banking, and nationwide ATM access. If you're a duck, you belong at OCCU, where you'll find fewer fees, higher savings rates, and lower rates on loans. And lots of fellow Duck fans. Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccu.org/remarkable.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news. The movement experts at Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists can help you find relief and results and keep you off the sidelines. With 16 convenient locations across Oregon and Southwest Washington. Contact Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists today at proactivepts.com to see a physical therapist. Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists, a proud partner of Oregon Athletics and trusted choice for keeping Duck fans in the game.
This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the drug facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the drug facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/drug facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Some of of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic. Safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Tip-Off Tuesday, the first Tip-Off Tuesday of the year, as we continue talking about women's basketball. And if you hear some dating here, we're talking about later this morning, Coach Graves had to do it on Monday morning. But we love him. Whenever he wants to do it, we're glad to have him.
That's right.
So we recorded yesterday morning, but here's my conversation with KG. All right, Coach, 1-1 on the weekend, the start of the Pac-12 season, and Shall we start at the bad, I guess? I guess that was the Friday night. The team wasn't quite on its game, and you were playing the number 10 team in the country in UCLA.
Yeah, we weren't at our best. We had too many turnovers. They scored too many off turnovers, and then second chance points. A couple of things that we wanted to do, we didn't do as well as we needed to. Even still. UCLA is a great team and give them a ton of credit. We did some good things too. Yeah. We did reach some of our game goals, but in the end, you just can't all the little things here and there that kind of added up to the loss. You just you can't have those deficiencies in big games, and that's what that was. But I really loved our fight. We got down 18 points with about 7-8 minutes to go in the game, and I think if we hit that corner three to cut it to 3 with 30-something seconds, I think we end up winning that game. But it didn't happen.
Yeah, it didn't happen. But we talk about the fight, and we've talked about that before. And in the 3 losses, this team has that. They show that. They don't go away.
No, we're a pretty resilient crew, and when you consider what we've been through this fall, we lose Sedona, one of the best centers in the country, and somebody we were really, looking forward to kind of propelling us through a great year. You lose her before the season. Then we have a couple of injuries. Kids are out. Then we have someone transfer, and but through it all, these guys have been very resilient, and it shows on the court when they really put their mind to it. And get rolling. We're a really good and dangerous team, and so I love that. I'm really proud of them, and so sometimes in a loss, you learn some good things as well.
Yeah, and then Sunday against USC, and in the pregame chat that we had, one of the keys to the win was toughness. Boy, your team showed toughness.
No doubt, and isn't that what this is all about? We learned from Friday night and then made adjustments and changed for Sunday. And played one of our best games, especially defensively. It might have been our best game of the year. We were really on point, and like you said, our kids showed a ton of toughness. On my keys to success I put on the board before the game, that was one of them. Toughness for 40 minutes, and I think we did that.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially Rhea Marshall, who just coming off a career game, 33-16 and 4 blocks up in Corvallis. And you guys held her down. Still got a double-double because she's just that good, but you got her in foul trouble, and it changed the game.
It did. Yeah, she's a heck of a player, and you knew she was going to, she's playing with a lot of confidence. Of her first three fouls, 2 of them were on the offensive end.
Yeah.
I thought our kids were really dialed in defensively. We doubled her a little bit. She turned into the double team. We got a charge. So our kids were really on point. We had, I thought, put together a really good game plan, and they executed it. But yeah, good on them. I'm telling you, it wasn't just 1 or 2 players that had a good game. Yeah. We had the entire roster, including Kennedy Basham, who got her first action. I was only hoping to get her maybe 1 or 2 minutes per half. We were able to play her 8 minutes, which is really good for her first time out.
Yeah, got a bucket, a blocked shot. What else?
And a couple of fouls.
Yeah, well,
but that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay. That's to be expected. It's been a long time since she's actually played a game.
Yeah, because she did not play her senior year of high school.
She didn't. She played just a few minutes in our season opener, and hadn't played since. So it's been a long time. And then to have to do that against Rhea Marshall and a couple of the other inside players they had, that was I was just really happy for.
Yeah, you too. And you pointed out, and then we had Taya Hansen on the postgame with Bev and me last night, and she pointed out, too, that Saturday you guys came to practice in between the games. Came to practice. It was just going to be a light practice. And then the players kind of decided, no, we need to work on things and fix this, didn't they?
Yeah, and, I've asked them for some input on what we can do differently, what they want, what they need. And, yeah, that's a perfect example. It was a hard-fought game, and we expended a lot of energy, really with only 7 players because Elise Hurst got hurt in that UCLA game, so they expended a lot of energy. And I thought, let's go a little bit lighter, and it turned into, no, let's get after it a little bit, and we did. And we had some practice guys there. They'd come back early for the holiday, and so it allowed us to kind of really work on some stuff, and I think there was great carryover. And then I asked the team, we've kind of gotten away from maybe that tempo press that we like to do, that 2-2-1 kind of pick up full court, and because of our limited numbers. And I asked them before the game, do you guys want to go back to this? And they go, yeah. And we did, and I thought it really helped. So I'm glad they're taking ownership, and they understand and realize, hey, we've got to be more aggressive, and that was one way we did so yesterday.
There you go, KG. That's part 1, and part 2 coming right up. But you can tell he likes this team. I talked to him, and he's really enjoying this group. They like each other. There's not cliques. They just they love playing with each other, and they love going to work. And he loves coaching them. We'll be back with more KG here on Tip-Off Tuesday after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Toyotathon is on and here to help make the holidays magical.
You made it!
By helping you see friends and family both near and far.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyotathon ends January 3rd. Participating dealers only. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, Pepsi-loving football fans, it's time we had a lesson in trash talk. And I'm not talking about that stuff that happens on the field. What I'm talking about is trash, and it's the only thing that belongs in your garbage can. Now, recycling might not be as thrilling as converting a 4th and long, but next time you're thinking about throwing that Pepsi Zero Sugar bottle away, just cap it back up and pretend you're down by 6 with the recycling bin wide open. Know the difference? Make a difference. Be a team player and recycle. Visit PepsiTrashTalk.com to learn more.
Toyotathon is on and here to help make the holidays magical.
You made it!
By helping you see friends and family both near and far.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyotathon ends January 3rd. Participating dealers only. Toyota, let's go places.
You're listening to Ducks Basketball on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Hi, everybody. Back to Tip-Off Tuesday. Terry Jonz, Joey Mack he's eating and drinking, and he looks good. And he sounds great, doesn't he? He does. Getting ready. He's doing just fine.
Thanks, Terry.
All right, here's part 2 with Kelly Graves. Hey, there's several leaders on this team. I think India's kind of really taken the bull by the horn, so to speak, but there's several leaders on this team.
They are, and you know what? Truly great teams have shared leadership. It's never just one or two. You know, our Sabrina years, we love to go back to those because they were so special. There was no doubt Sabrina was the leader, but Sabrina had backup. Yeah. Ruthie was always happy and always, Sab might get on you and then Ruthie would pick you up after, right? Satu was the one player that would just stand up to Sabrina and either back her up or say no and challenge her in a different way. So it's got to be shared. And then you have people like Adi Gilden and Maite who were so consistent. And I think we have a lot of that with this team. You mentioned Indy. I think she's really stepped up. Tahina didn't have a great shooting day yesterday, but I thought she had a great floor game, played excellent defense. And then among those young ones, I really think Chance Gray is asserting herself as a vocal leader. Taya Hansen is giving us good leadership. So it's across the board, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah, Taya, again, in the postgame, we talked a little bit about her mentorship. I said, and you're mentored when she was back at Arizona State as a freshman. She talked about that. And she's been in those people's weddings. And she goes, I can see that here where you're helping the young ones because you can tell where they're struggling with something, and you ask them. And she talked about how, I think all the older players, you have an open door for those young players.
Yeah, no question. I was really happy to see Taya kind of have a breakout offensive game yesterday because, she's such a selfless player. Think about it. She has been a starter and a key player on Arizona State for 4 years, started for 3 of those years. She's used to playing a lot more, and we've asked her to come off a bench. It's a whole new – and as a fifth-year senior and you got 2 freshmen in the starting lineups, she could have that could have been a negative, and she's turned it around and made it a positive. And I give her so much credit and have so much respect for her to be able to do that. That's not easy to do. She's accepted that role, maybe not accepted the role, but she's executed that role, leading from coming off the bench.
And she played on Team Canada, as did Filipina Che. And how about Philly with 20 rebounds?
Hey, listen, and we're going to see a lot more of those. Incredible what she was doing. And I say sometimes it hurts our rebounding because some of the others don't go to the boards because they figure, Philly will get it. Now, most of the time last night she did, but wow, good on her. And we wanted to keep her in to get that 20th, but at the same time, it's like, okay, let's get Taylor back in. And we had Taylor at the scorer's table, and thank goodness she got it on her own, and that was great. 20 rebounds. It's only happened twice since I've been here. Julian Aileen got 21 back in, I think, 2016.
Yeah, I think she has the record of 27 in one game against Portland State. But it was an overtime game, too, but still.
I hope those were on
remarkable.
Portland State misses and not on Oregon misses.
Yeah, baby, I don't know. This conference, the depth of this conference is just tremendous. It may be as deep as it's ever been.
I'm going to go ahead and say I think it is deeper than it's ever been since I've been in it. And before I got here, it seemed like it was a Stanford and then the rest. Mm-hmm. So, I think 1 through 12, man, you better be ready. Look at the Beavers. They haven't, they've struggled a little bit, and then they knock off UCLA yesterday. Now, granted, I get it. They didn't have Osborne, and that's a huge, problem. That was the benefit for them.
But UCLA had 12 threes in that game.
I know. I'll tell you. And then Utah was just rolling people. Yeah. They could have lost both at the Washingtons this week. Both went right down to the wire. So, it's going to be a dogfight every night, and that's why you got to enjoy all the victories you can. You got to forget about them losses, move on, and then enjoy those victories.
All right, the first 3 conference games, you go 2-1. You got the Beavers, got USC, and the loss to UCLA. Now hit the road for the first time in the conference, and the Arizona trip's always tough.
Always tough, but always warm.
Yeah, that's true.
So, look at you, glass half empty. I'm a glass half
full.
You know what I mean? But, yeah, you're right. It will be tough. Arizona State is playing certainly better. There's no question about that. They're going to be tough. And then Arizona, as we know, one of the best teams in the country, and they're going to have a packed house. They don't like me very much, so that'll be an issue down there. But I'm really looking forward to it. We've really only had the one true road game at Southern. Yeah. So this will be a new experience to play in a hostile environment, not a neutral environment.
All right, health-wise of the team, before I know everybody's been asking about Elise Hurst. You mentioned yesterday, and we talked about it on the broadcast, but a little bit of time away.
Yeah, I stay out of that. I do. I don't dive in too much. It's not looking good for this week. Anytime you see a boot on somebody, that's usually meaning, hey, it's another week or so. I doubt we'll have her down there, so we'll be short on numbers. We'll just have 8 healthy. I think everybody else is relatively healthy. I mean, now you're starting to get into January. You get into February, everybody has aches and pains and bruises, and you just kind of have to play through it to some extent. But I think we're in pretty good mental and physical shape right now.
Yeah, Coach, 11-3 and 2-1 in the conference. It's a pretty good start for this team, and let's keep it going.
Let's do, yeah. And let's have a good time down there. Do we play? I don't even know. Who do we play first?
Arizona State, 6 o'clock Friday.
Okay.
We'll be ready.
Yeah, now they play tonight, I think. I think they're
today.
A day behind everybody.
Yeah, as we're talking here on Monday morning, I know Arizona and Stanford here play in a couple hours. So.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
Get to watch that and see what happens.
This is an important weekend.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, buddy. Thanks.
There you go. I recorded yesterday morning, obviously. And, by the way, I said the time, Mountain Time, 6 o'clock. It's actually 5 o'clock against Arizona State this Friday. So 4:30 with the pregame show.
But you got to know local time.
Well, yeah, and then you get yourself confused sometimes.
Because Arizona doesn't do daylight savings, and it really messes me up.
Well, and I'll miss the bus, going over there.
That's right.
It's a bit of a walk.
No broadcast. When the pregame show is not on the air a half an hour before tip-off, now you know why.
Yeah, you missed the bus. Get Uber.
I guess.
Uber, cab.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever gets you there.
You just start walking, dragging your little case with your backpack.
Rent a bike. Yeah, 5 o'clock on Friday and then 4 o'clock on Sunday. So pregame always half an hour beforehand. You won't have Bev Smith on these ones, though, so good luck.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the road games, you miss her.
Yes.
I miss her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You do? No, I do.
Yeah.
I wish she would, but, she has a job.
She has an actual job. Her
Kid Sports needs her.
Yeah,
They do.
Georgie actually have day jobs.
Yeah.
Then there's us.
Yeah. We're just
really,
here. This is what you do?
Yep.
Yeah. It's tough.
On that note, that was great. Kelly Graves on the interview. Tip-Off Tuesday, always brought to you by our friends at Toyota. And when we come back, we've got Mike Mennenga talking a little Oregon men's basketball before the Ducks head to Colorado. That's right. It's a 6 o'clock tip, by the way. That's Pacific time on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Once a Duck, always a Duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has been the credit union serving the University of Oregon community. With remarkable checking, My OCCU mobile banking, and nationwide ATM access. If you're a Duck, you belong at OCCU, where you'll find fewer fees, higher savings rates, and lower rates on loans. And lots of fellow Duck fans. Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccu.org/remarkable.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news. The movement experts at Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists can help you find relief and results and keep you off the sidelines. With 16 convenient locations across Oregon and Southwest Washington. Contact Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists today at proactivepts.com to see a physical therapist. Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists, a proud partner of Oregon Athletics and trusted choice for keeping Duck fans in the game.
You're listening to Oregon Basketball from Learfield.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. With honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be shared with friends or family. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path, because when you talk, they hear you. Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Back inside the Country Financial studio, and I'm just going to let Terry do the whole show from here. I mean, you listen to this.
You're doing great.
God. It's that time of year, isn't it? Happy New Year from everybody.
He's doing fine.
At the Oregon Sports Network. Anyway, thanks again to Coach Graves for taking the time. And then earlier today, I sat down here with Mike Mennenga, who, he used to be a broadcaster, actually.
Really?
Yeah, before he...
I could buy that, yeah.
Yeah, before he got into coaching, he worked his way up through the AAU circuit and worked at various colleges. He actually did dabble in being a color analyst for a while.
What?
And he was good at it. If you ever go look up on YouTube, and we've done this on the show in the past, so those of you who have been routine viewers and listeners to Tip Off Tuesday, then you know that we actually went and dug up Mike Mennenga, analyst, and we played it for him on the show and made him do a little analysis of himself. But you can hear it in his voice. He's just got such a great energy about him. And so I always have to ask, and you'll love this, Terry, I always have to ask him some off-the-beaten-path questions. And we did that to kick things off, our conversation with Oregon men's basketball assistant coach Mike Mennenga today. All right, Coach, you're going to have to bear with me. Normally I fist bump, I handshake. You can hear a little froggy. It wasn't my best broadcast with the win over Oregon State. So, Coach.
I'll make sure that I'm in blue defense. That means I'm inside out.
I like
inside out. I'm not in denial today. We're going to be on tight coverage on Joey.
I like
We're going to let him have the jumper today.
I like that. And you know what? That's a good scouting report. I was an inside player. You can let me shoot the elbow jumper. It's not going to go in very
I've seen you shoot
often.
it, Joey. I think I don't know. I think you're sandbagging us there. I think I'd have to pressure you if I really had to scout you.
No,
man. I'd make you handle the ball.
No, I was the hustle rebounder who enjoyed being the fourth option. That was I could defend.
Okay.
I could defend. I probably fouled a lot.
Okay.
But I defended well.
You make me think about this former player. We were talking about Hank Gathers here before the broadcast. Yeah. So Loyola Marymount during that time had a kid by the name of Eric Peabody.
Okay.
And he was known as the Human Bruise.
All right.
Because he would dive on loose balls and he would do all that type of stuff. Were you that guy?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh.
Yeah, I was that guy. I also was probably the guy that opposing teams hated, but my teammates loved me.
Okay.
Because I'd, occasionally ref not looking, get a little elbow extra on the rebound,
man.
You make people work for it.
Kind of that 90s to early 2000s NBA version of a player.
I was that way. Yeah.
Like Charles Oakley?
I don't think I was that good. Somebody
I just can't see you, Joey, just kind of out there picking that. I don't know. You're right. Maybe not Oakley.
The reason that I got in, so twofold. I got into broadcasting, one, because I wasn't good enough to keep playing, and two, because I was probably a little dirty. And overly competitive, if I'm being honest. So it's probably good that the broadcaster now is in the broadcaster's seat.
That's funny.
It works out. So
that's funny.
Mike Mennenga with us. All right, we're going to review non-con. We're going to get ready for the upcoming road trip. It's the first tip-off Tuesday. Thanks for being the first off the bench from the coaching staff this week. So
whatever I got to do to keep the show going, man.
Really, I guess, you're the first one in the starting lineup. What was the starting lineup routine for player Mike Mennenga? What did you do when your name got announced? What was your celebration in a starting lineup?
Well, I remember it was a whole pregame setup. So when I fell in love with basketball, it was 6th, 7th grade, you know, and I thought my pregame thing was, check this out. I would get in the closed room, all right, and I had my cassette player.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I would throw in promise you this. I'd throw in Another One Bites the Dust by Queen.
Yeah, okay.
And I'd be there after that song was over. Boom, I'm ready to go.
Good.
You know what I'm saying? Ready to go. As I ventured into college and everything like that, I had the Sony Walkman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It still had the cassette. I ventured into CDs. You know what I mean? So I kind of was listening a little more like Eric B. and Rakim and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that was my pregame hype, and I'd be ready to go.
All right.
Yeah.
So did you have a handshake that you did with your teammates when they got introduced? Because I see the guys, and they've got, this is a rehearsed thing.
I'm serious. If we really dig a little bit deeper in this, I'm a little frustrated with that because we're trying to get them to learn the playbook. They know all these handshakes, different movements. Brady Paris has got those 10 different players' handshakes. You know what I'm saying? We're just hey, man, we just want to figure out box 3 first. Then we'll get to the handshakes.
Yeah, okay.
So, I was just kind of maybe a little a dap, and then we had this little thing, dap, and we go pop, pop, pop like that. So, we're not going to touch. So it's kind of like, but like,
yeah,
yeah,
right.
like that.
Yeah.
So
Good. Well, this has been a great interview so far because I did not think that we'd get into. We just need the guys to learn box 3, not their handshakes. So any of the student athletes that are tuned in, now you know, right? If you put the same energy into your handshake,
oh man.
Right?
He may be one of the best execution, baseline under teams in the country.
That's right. I'll take it. Hey, I did want to highlight these because we've been talking about them on the broadcast. So, in partnership with the School of Product Design, every single home conference game is going to have a different poster this year. So, Coach, I mean, the disco ball on New Year's Eve dropping through the net to Matthew Knight Arena.
Loving it.
Well done. We've got one for every single game this year. First 100 fans in attendance are going to get one. I think that's been a great promotion.
Fantastic.
Coach.
I love the disco ball. I'm a big Saturday Night Fever type of guy.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All so, that made me think about that, man. So we got the win and had a little party that night. So that poster sets the tone very well.
I like that. So, hey, anytime you beat the Beavs, it's a good day.
It is.
Recap it for fans. What'd you like from the game against Oregon State?
Probably the biggest thing coming out of Christmas is we really wanted to pick up our defensive intensity and our activity. So a big focus has been on just hand activity and getting deflections in the game. So it's great to see practice translate to the game. So we ended up having our season high in deflections, and it really translated not only to just us defensively, but us on the glass. We just played harder and played with more urgency. I mean, I think we were, plus 15, plus 18 on the boards. I don't know the exact number, and those to a coach are great numbers. Anytime you're in the 30s and deflections, we want to get to 40, and then you're over plus 10 on the glass. You have a great chance of winning the game. But at the minimum, that your guys are locked in. That they're competing, they're flying around, and that's probably the biggest part that we're pleased with right now is with the guys' response to what we've been kind of dialed in on in practice.
Out-rebounded them 39-21, and the offensive rebound 17-4.
No question. I mean, and you look at the film, and obviously, the elephant in the room, we've been down some bodies, but it's been a great opportunity for other guys to come in and do some things. And, I think a guy who is one of those that kind of embodies that part is Luke Warr.
Yeah.
Luke Warr, came in and had 5 deflections. He kept 4 critical offensive rebounds, including that one for a putback right before the half.
Yep.
And, and those are type of things when we start getting the guys back that are supposed to be in those spots, it's going to give us some incredible depth to start getting in a space where we could play that way for 40 minutes. I think that's the biggest challenge. I think our guys are playing hard and they're playing with urgency, but fatigue is a part of basketball. And whether you're Will Richardson playing 40 minutes or Brendan Rigsby going back a couple playing 40 minutes, I mean, it's a tough game to play at a high level, for that long period of time, and then allows coach to kind of mix up lineups too. So when Dante gets in foul trouble or he gets fatigued and we sub in, challenge allows us to change the way we look or the way we play, especially when we get guys like Jermaine Kuznar back or Keyshawn Barthélemy back, it's really going to, change our team.
Well, and I do want to say the green elephant in the room, if you will. Coach Altman, I asked him, because everybody had been asking me out of the holidays, what's the timeline? And Coach Altman said during the Oregon State game when I talked with him that it's still probably about 10 days because those guys have been working back from practice. And it's not a light switch, is it, Coach? I mean, it takes a little time.
Not at all. It's not a light switch. I mean, you can't just go from 0 to 100. So there's a little bit of a buildup for both, Jermaine and Keyshawn, specifically. And then obviously the holidays were happening during that time. And, Jermaine's deal is a daily production. Clay Jamison's probably the real MVP in that whole, in the whole thing. No doubt about it. Big shout out to Clay. Our longtime athletic trim does an amazing job with our guys. He's definitely earned his paycheck this season.
Yeah.
But with Jermaine, there was a time there where just for a couple days, just like anybody else this time of year, you get a little under the weather.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You get a little under the weather, and next thing you know, you can't do the things physically required to rehab you. So now all of a sudden you got to make up the time,
right?
And get creative. So Clay and Cliff, our strength and conditioning coach, who's been awesome as well, have really put in some overtime there, and hopefully we'll have those guys in position to play really soon. It's going to make an amazing impact on our team.
Unfortunately, I know all too well what it's like this time of year, being a little bit under the weather. So I can, I can sympathize.
How's your knees?
Much better than they were 10 years ago.
Oh, well.
Actually, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, Dana may point at you. You don't
know.
No.
Nope. We talked about that. I get called for fouls left and
Oh,
right.
that's
right.
Yeah,
no way.
You're a hack guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay.
In more ways than one.
You admitted it on the air. That's
I
right.
did.
Okay.
I got no problem admitting that.
Okay.
I played hard. When we come back.
Well, okay.
War with Mike Mennenga. I thought you were going to make a joke about being a hack.
Well, I have no idea. I never saw you play, but that's what all.
Well, you've seen me
guys
broadcast
who hack people. That's what they say. I just play hard.
That's right.
You foul all the time. You just never get called.
Just like in broadcasting, he's a hack.
Yeah.
That's where I thought you were going to go.
Throw the flag.
Don't throw the flag. This is a basketball show.
Oh, okay.
You blow the whistle. You don't throw the flag.
They don't do that with basketball officials. Throw a flag
at them. I like that. Yeah. When we come back, more with men's basketball assistant coach Mike Mennenga on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Toyotathon is on and here to help make the holidays magical.
You made it!
By helping you see friends and family both near and far.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyotathon ends January 3rd. Participating dealers only. Toyota, let's go places.
Dear past, present, and future football watchers, you know why we're here. The football season is back! Woo! And since that's too amazing to miss a single second's worth, Pepsi is officially giving you permission to always put football first. Like, maybe those in-laws are back in town. Well, better hope they're football fans because your Sunday is completely booked. Long story short, crack open a Pepsi and don't let anything get between you and your football watching. With love, Pepsi, made for football watching. That's what I like.
Toyotathon is on and here to help make the holidays magical.
You made it!
By helping you see friends and family both near and far.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyotathon ends January 3rd. Participating dealers only. Toyota, let's go places.
This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Meet Ed, movie buff, animal lover, safe driver.
5 years of driving an ambulance teaches you a thing or two. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. When I see a car trying to rush past a turning bus, I get concerned. You see, when big vehicles turn right, they have to swing wide to make the turn. And that's a lesson you don't want to learn the hard way. When trucks and buses turn, let's you and I wait.
It's our roads. It's our safety. Visit www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
I've been driving trucks for a long time, and safety is my #1 priority. I know that my truck has huge blind spots. That's why I remember to check my mirrors often for smaller vehicles. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're behind the wheel, try to avoid lingering in those blind spots. It can be dangerous. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
We are back inside the Country Financial Studio.
That was Joey clearing his throat. I was doing an imitation of Joey.
This is terrible. I was going to come back and say, welcome back to Duck Insider. Along with Terry Jonz, I'm Joey Hack.
Yeah.
I mean, and he wouldn't even let me get there. I couldn't even make fun of myself. Gosh.
I'm sorry. I feel for you, buddy. But as long as it's not me, it's funny.
What a great debut to tip off Tuesday for the year, huh?
Okay.
Well, you heard from Kelly Graves, a great conversation before they head to Arizona, and then the men traveling to Colorado and then Utah. The Ducks taking on the Buffs at 6 o'clock Pacific time on Thursday, then at 4 o'clock on Saturday. Part 2, our conversation. We talked a lot of other things with Mike Mennenga. I promise we actually talked about the Buffs and the Utes here in Part 2 with the assistant coach for the Ducks. Just looking at it heading into the season, Coach, I was talking with Coach Altman about this a little bit. Like, those are guys that are not just rotation guys we're talking about, like the potentially starters, depending on the lineup and how things were sorting out. And so I did want to ask you, like, big picture, non-conference season, review it if you could a little bit, but then also just the way that it can really impact the team moving forward when you have all the bodies as you talk about, you have more depth, it changes things.
It changes things a lot. And back to Keyshawn and Jermaine, we're talking about guys that are proven at the Power 5 level. Keyshawn averaged 12 points a game in our league last year. Yeah. Jermaine was at 13.5 points a game in the SEC conference, was arguably the best basketball conference in the country last year. So they're no doubt going to bring it in. Then on top of that, it dominoes even more because they're guards and they handle the ball and they make decisions. And clearly, if anybody's been following us and watching us play, we just don't have many of those guys. Will's been has really been the one experienced guy with the ball. So therefore, there's going to be an exponential factor when they come back that's going to ripple effect. So obviously, the schedule has been a bear. It's been the toughest thing. Coach has said it since I've been here, year 9. This has been the toughest stretch of games that we've ever had here. So I think it's been some pain and struggle early, but I think the numbers. Obviously, everything's determined on net rankings in our sport. So the likes of UConn and Houston, nobody knew that UConn would be the number 1 team in the country type caliber team. Houston, obviously, we had an idea would be there. And UCLA's UCLA, Michigan State's Michigan State. So I think as we move along, those games and the experiences from those games are going to really prove valuable to us. Especially when you think of the likes of guys like Luke War, has really, really thrived from those experiences. Got a lot of confidence. That what I'm working on, what I'm doing translates against the best. Well, now all of a sudden, that's why you've seen a little buildup in his game. So I think even though we've been through some adversity, and obviously the schedule is super tough, the Ducks are in position to control their own destiny.
Let me ask you about Luke, if I could. I think that it's more rare in today's game that you see a guy who has like his story. That red shirts. Builds up toward playing a lot, is asked to play a lot this year, and has attacked the glass probably better than I would say maybe anybody on the roster the way that he's gone after.
No doubt.
How cool is that to see as a coach and see a guy like him being rewarded for the work that he's done?
Luke is a gym rat. And he's wanted it bad, and he's just been in a space where, and we could talk about this, where it's just like there's a block, a mental block in his game where and basketball is such a free-flowing game. You know what I mean? And how you got to respond to mistakes, and you got to make quick second decisions and quick react plays. And Luke is fully capable of that, obviously. And I think he's finally in a place where he's just assured of himself. Like usually, if you have a decision to make, usually sometimes the first thing in a quick to react, the first thing you think of is usually the right one.
Yeah.
And Luke has got to get in space and just where he trusts himself. And when I see it, do it. And he's starting to put that together.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, coach's one of his best sayings is it's not coaching if they're not listening.
Right.
And one good thing about Luke, it looks like he's listening because he's starting to really apply what coach is talking to him about. Is just right now, just wrap your head around defensive activity and go get the ball. And at one point, I think Luke was all thinking about his 3-point shooting. You know what I mean? Because he's in the gym a lot and he makes a bunch of them, but the game of ball, what we need him to do right now is more on that side without the ball. Go get the ball and, play with incredible activity on the defensive side. And that's what he's doing. And he's getting the minutes.
Yeah, I think it's been awesome to see it. I'm rooting for him.
Yeah, me too.
It's cool to see it. A couple more thoughts from Mike Mennenga. Tough road trip ahead. We'll talk about that in a second. But I do want to ask you about the Pro Ducks because more and more guys are showing up on NBA rosters, which has to be fun for your program.
It's great, man. It's great. And I think I'd say this for Coach Altman, too. I think he'd get a big smile on his face. It makes you like a big, whether a proud big brother, uncle, dad, just that same feeling of family, and that's what we are. We're a basketball family, and anytime we see the guys like, the Dylan Brookses and the Chris Bouchers and the Duartes and Peyton Pritchards and those guys and Troy Browns, Bull's playing amazing. Probably, right there at Bull. I mean, those guys kind of knew maybe it was going to go that way. You know what I mean? But Bull and the season that he's having and the struggles that he went through, you know what I mean? And to be like in a position maybe to be the most improved player in the NBA.
Yeah, no kidding.
Is incredible, And then, Eugene Omarui.
Yeah.
Having big games this year for the OKC Thunder on his deal. Lewis King just signed with the Philadelphia 76ers. And is still chopping wood and making his path. So it just is a great testament to the program that Coach Altman, probably more the DNA that these kids pick up when they come to the University of Oregon, and I always say this all the time, and I believe in what Rob's saying is just like, all the sports are good here.
Yep.
Why? You know what I mean? Because, man, the daily attention to what you do before practice, what you do to recover, what you do in the weight room, what you do, that applies across the board. And I feel like our products have really, really, benefited from that and empowered that. And obviously we want to just keep building it. But to answer your question, Joey, it's a lot of fun, watching those guys enjoy success.
Takes hard work to get to where those guys are.
I mean, Coach told it to the guys straight up yesterday. It came up. He's just like, you know what? I didn't get Peyton Pritchard into the NBA. You know what I mean? He got himself into the NBA.
Right.
We gave him some guidance and everything but Chris Duarte worked himself into that space.
Right.
Eugene Murray worked himself. Dylan Brooks obviously worked himself into that space. So, those guys not only are beacons for the program, but they're just living examples for our current players to be like, you know what, hey, I could do this here. You can get anywhere you want from a place like here at the University of Oregon.
Colorado, Utah coming up. Final thoughts, keys to success on the road trip.
Obviously, we got to keep doing what we're doing. We got to reduce turnovers. Got to take care of the ball. The Colorado game and then Cal, they lost to Cal, but they feverishly came back, almost won the game at the end by pressing. I'm sure we're going to get pressed by Colorado, and obviously it's always been tough for us there. We got it. We beat them there last year, and we just want to keep that going. Utah's playing great. They're in first place in the Pac-12 right now. Undefeated. So we control our destiny there. We've been always fortunate to play really well at Utah. So hopefully we just do what we did last year and bring home that sweep.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Bop, bop.
Yeah, that's right. See?
No, the boarhead's like this. It's like, yay.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. This is Coach Mike Mennenga. Coach, thank you. Appreciate the time. I'm coachable. See, I got it right at the end.
Don't touch Joey.
Yeah, Bubble. I love that he said, hey, blue defense, don't touch you, right? Stay away. That was great. Hey, fans, in all seriousness, I'm sorry. I'm doing my best.
He's doing great.
But, yeah, the game on New Year's Eve was – I'm sorry for that. Let me say that again. I am sorry that you had to listen to that, if you did, because it was I did not sound very good. Still don't. Hopefully it's better. Maybe a little fresh mountain air will clear me up.
Have a Buffalo burger.
Is that what'll do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That and Crown Royal cough syrup.
Yeah, I guess. Something. Shoot. At this rate, whatever it takes to get back going and on the air. But, yeah.
Sorry, we were just trying to cheer Joey up today. So
thanks. 6 o'clock on Thursday, 6 o'clock Pacific time. That's also an ESPN2 game, so a big opportunity for the men to get a win, and then 4 o'clock on Saturday in Salt Lake City.
5 o'clock Friday from Tempe, the Ducks in Arizona State, and on Sunday it's 4 o'clock tip. And Tucson.
Yeah.
Tucson.
Tip Tuesday. One in the books. 9 more to go. See you then.
I found hope in the midst of an overwhelming situation.
Alcoholism is a disease that can affect any family. Everyone suffers, but there is help and hope at Al-Anon Family Groups.
Al-Anon gave me my life back. I'm a better father and husband.
Are you in an overwhelming situation because of someone else's drinking? Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Local and virtual meetings.